Happy Friday, America, and thanks again for joining us right here on the Discussion Combustion and Happy Friday America YouTube channel. Hope you're ready for another ferocious, fiery, fantastic, fun-filled Friday, because we have some fast action coming your way. You just got done listening to the Fricashin as they play us in and play us out every single week. Be sure to show them some love on social media, download their music. They are fantastic, guys. My name is Kevin Batstone. I will be the MC on this episode, and joining me as always, my good buddy, Arthur the Traveler Rawe.
Thank you, and it's so great to be back in the 38th state of this great nation, my home state. That's Colorado, for anybody who's tuning in, that is, wherever you're tuning in from. It's great to be home. Was in Ontario, Canada, saw Toronto, Oakville. Beautiful up there, great lake scene, but it feels so good to be back in the home turf and the Stars and Stripes, baby.
Good to have you back home for another Happy Friday America. And if this is your first episode that you're catching of Happy Friday America and you're going, what's different about this from Discussion Combustion? Well, we like to have fun around here. It's going to be fast-filled. Topics coming your way every week that Art and I find on the internet that we think is fun, that we think is interesting, that are happening all over the country. And the idea of this show is to be upbeat, have some fun. We know there's a lot of bad things going on in this country with, we got hurricanes, we got fires in Hawaii. We're going to try to stay away from that type of stuff here. We're having fun on Happy Friday. Let's get into it, Art. We're talking dating.
Yeah, keep it light, keep it fun, as you should when you go out on dates. That's the whole point of it, is having fun on these dates, right? Getting to know people. Everyone should go down to the show notes, check this one out, click the link, because there's some ridiculous stories. 37 funny dating stories that have left people amused. Some of these are really, really good. I did pick out one to read off here. Then I got a question for you, Kev, of course. So this is from the lady's perspective on the date. I flirted with a cute bank teller for weeks. No, this is from the guys. This is guys' perspective. My bad.
Okay.
I flirted with a cute bank teller for weeks before getting the nerve to ask her out. Didn't realize she was super religious when he invited her to a Mexican restaurant. He ordered 2 margaritas. She said, "I'm sorry, I'm Christian," and she didn't want any. And he's like, "Oh, well, these are both for me." And then she proceeded to say that he wasn't Christian enough to be with him. So at least you find out quick. Like, usually you order drinks immediately, and that's kind of like that's actually a pretty ballsy move to just go in there and not even like, what do you like to drink? I mean, he tried to go full man mode there and be like, hey, you want a margarita with me?
Well, I mean, they're at a Mexican restaurant, so he's probably thinking, all right, we're going to have some, some appetizers and a couple drinks before we get into this thing. But, look, that's how you find out. You find out what you want, but find out what you don't want. This didn't meet her criteria, and so the date ends, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the dating pool, right? You're not going to click with everyone out there. Not everyone is going to, match your preferred lifestyle.
Yeah, and so, maybe he was being playful when he said these are both for me. Maybe he didn't hit that line quite right. I feel like that line could have worked. But what's a funny dating experience of yours, Kev? Can we dive into that?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had some interesting things happen over the years. And this is a great read, by the way. Go down to the show notes and click on this, because there's 37 pretty funny stories here. I don't know if I have really – I mean, a funny one, I guess, would be back in high school when I was young, and I ended up clogging I've told this story before on Discussion Combustion.
We have heard this one, yeah.
Clogged my – we were dating at the time, and I clogged her parents' toilet in the trailer, and that was not good. Outside of that, I would say I remember going on a date with this gal in my early 20s.
And you did get a second date, though, after that.
I did. We ended up dating for a while.
That worked well, then.
It did, but it was it's a funny story. it's a funny dating story that I clogged the shitter. And then, so fast forward a little bit, in my early 20s, I was dating this gal. We met up, I can't remember, it was like some dive bar in Aurora. And she started asking me about my political opinions, which is not good first date topics, folks. It just isn't. I mean, unless you're really dead set and hellbound on it.
Keep it fun.
Keep it fun. And then, of course, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not, I stand this way. For people that follow me on my other shows, you kind of know where I stand on the Second Amendment and things like that. And it just didn't work. And it became an extremely awkward date, if you will. And she ended up getting a little bit frustrated and left me with the bill. And that's okay.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. One, I was really young in my early 20s, and I guess that is really young. But I was online dating, pioneering that stuff back when it was new. And I went on the date, talked to this girl for like weeks before. I was like, she sounds super cute. Like, we're having great conversations. Can't wait to meet her in person. There's no way this girl is real. Well, she was real, but she also had real old pictures up. on her profile.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I felt bad because I continued to hang out, and like, you know, I didn't just like curve her real quick like that, but it
You were a gentleman about it.
yeah, it was just like, you know, it's not gonna work sort of thing. Like I hung out for like 30 minutes or something, but I would say in relationships, the best is where you can learn even if it doesn't work. And
Yes.
and what I mean by that is, you know, there's areas where I've messed up in the past where it's like, okay, I could have done that differently. Like I've had a girlfriend leave me before, and like, you know, you learn some lessons there. And I feel like it's best even if you have to leave them, then you learn lessons of what's going to work for you really in the future. So that's how I'll cap off that one, though, is try to learn from these relationships. Everyone comes into our lives for a reason, and they're not all permanent.
Yeah, and I think that what I would close with that is, you know, like a lot of folks are in the dating world and everyone's trying to find somebody. You know, I would say just hang out and have fun. You know, just don't overthink it. Just go meet people.
Yeah,
you know?
keep it light. Keep it flirty.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out because you're just there to hang out and have fun. You're not going to click with everybody. That's what I'd have to say about it.
Enjoy your time.
Enjoy your
It's
time.
all about enjoying your time and enjoying life and not taking it too seriously. Even though it's serious out there, but not taking it too seriously.
100%. And I'll tell you, someone who doesn't take things serious but has a lot of fun and really enjoys his time is a gentleman out of Georgia who just broke the Guinness Book of World Record. Art, this is a pretty cool stat here. He's a Batman super fan. He collected 8,226 pieces of memorabilia to date. I'd imagine he's going to keep adding to it. That's
a lot.
It's a Solid Lad Brad Ladner is his name. Solid Lad Brad Lad down there in Georgia. And man, I saw some pictures. If you click this link and check out this article down below, I mean, just the stuff that he has is just incredible, man. So there's some super fans out there.
Yeah, and when you have that extensive amount of pieces in your collection, you know you're going to have some gems in there. Like, and a lot of the setups that these people have, have a whole basement dedicated to this stuff, and it does take probably decades to accumulate. Like, you know, it takes forever. I would like to have seen it 8228 for some reason. I would like to see the 8 at the end there. I'm sure he's at that right now. I'm just gonna say that for my own mentality's sake.
Most likely.
Out of all these, the toy that I would want to play with the most, because I'm imagining he has all of them.
Guaranteed.
Every single one of them. I'm going to want to at least look at, for nostalgic reasons, the animated series toys that came out when I was a kid. And like that old, really long Batmobile and stuff. Just to, even if it was boxed up, just to go look at it and be like, man, I spent so much time playing with that. When I was a kid, it had like the pop out of the back where it had like the mini vehicle that came out of the Batmobile and stuff.
Pretty cool.
So quick story, I'll make it fast. But my aunt in Quincy, Illinois, she owned a comic book shop. I was helping her out, being a good kid one day, and she gifted that Batmobile to me. And it was like I was so excited.
Yeah, growing up, my aunt Barbara and Uncle Tommy, R.I.P. Uncle Tommy, owned a toy store. So I would get all the cool NASCAR die casts and really cool stuff from their toy store. So
Don't you still have one of those?
Absolutely. They're still in the original packaging.
Yeah.
Still in the original packaging.
Those are nice.
So pretty cool stuff there, man. I appreciate anyone that is into something so much. It took 35 years, Art. He started collecting in 1988. That's when he got his first comic. 35 years it took him of collecting memorabilia to break this record. Pretty cool story, man.
That is a cool story.
Another cool story I found going on up to Minnesota. You know, we got fishing season going on. There was a young lad by the name of Connor Hulsa. He was out in Moorhead, Minnesota, doing some fishing. You know, out there in the woods, backwoods. Minnesota here is tremendous fishing. And man, he's like, I think I got a big one on the line. And he ends up reeling in a wallet. He reels in a wallet that's been lost for what we come to find out a year. He opens up this wallet. It's got $2,000 cash in it. He finds a business card, which ultimately tracks him back to the owner of this wallet, and he returns it as a solid lad. And so, you know, as a thank you or whatever, the gentleman who was a farmer out of Iowa ended up taking him and the family out for a meal. So that's just pretty cool, man. It was a happy story I found, and you never know what you're going to find when you're out fishing. You might find 70 pounds of cocaine in Tampa Bay. You might find a wallet up in Minnesota.
You know, there's a lot in the waters out there, and it is interesting. I do like the morality behind this, though. You know, you find $2,000 in cash, and you return it, so you know that person is doing the right thing for the right reasons. When they're all by themselves.
Yep.
There's nobody else in the room. They're holding themselves accountable. So I really do like that. And then also the courtesy back. You know, quick dinner. You know, thank you. A nod of respect. It would be nice to get out there. I've never done too much fishing. I've only done it a couple times. I don't have a license like you do or anything like that. But it is really peaceful. You know, you get out there, you get a nice place, as long as it's not overcrowded, right? Because sometimes you get into a place and there's just so many people out there.
Yeah, that's true, especially here in Colorado. I mean, fishing is, we have good fishing. I would say the best fishing I've experienced in this state of Colorado would be the Western Slope. Caught some fantastic largemouth bass out in Montrose. Closer to Denver on this side of the Continental Divide, you see a lot of trout, a lot of brook trout, brown trout, cutthroat. They're a lot of fun, though, man. I love fishing. It's a good way to unwind and get out there in nature and just hear the sounds of the water.
Well, and it's so satisfying when you get that real good,
oh, yeah.
And, you feel the bob flying through the air. That's satisfying.
Oh, yeah. And for all of it, putting the worm on the hook, I mean, it's pretty primal.
It's the process.
I love it, man.
So we do have another process here at Happy Friday America, and that is the Would You Rather segment. So for this week's Would You Rather, I have a subtext for Kevin to answer this question correctly, or else he's just going to go off the rails. I know what you would have done. So for your birthday, would you rather receive cash or would you rather receive gifts? And in this example, let's just say that you like to celebrate your birthday. Because you're not a fan, right?
Of birthdays?
Yeah, you're like, you can take it or leave it.
They don't mean much to me. I end up working on them. I think I podcasted on mine this year.
Yeah.
Since I turned 21, actually 25 was the last cool one because I didn't have to pay the surcharge on a rental car anymore, and I was doing a lot of traveling then for NASCAR, so that was nice. But since then, it's like, it's just another day. But, to answer this, would you rather, I would rather go with the cash.
Rather go with the cash.
It's like, heartfelt, thoughtful gifts are nice when people create stuff for you, like some of our guests have done in the past, and they bring you something. That's nice. But I'd rather just have the cash, man. Maybe go spend that on a case of beer, a nice meal, some steaks.
Yeah.
I'm taking the cash.
Yeah, I guess it depends what the gift is, and who's giving it to me. So I'm going to go with the mystery here. I'm going to take the gifts. I would rather get a gift and see what happens, see what it is.
Just roll the dice, huh?
Yeah, I want to take the mystery on that one. Viewers, why don't you go ahead, check out X, a.k.a. Twitter. We're going to have a poll up on that, and it'll be down in the comments, too. Let us know, for your birthday, would you rather receive cash or would you rather receive a gift?
Yeah, let us know what you think, folks. Get involved, like Art said, Twitter, and down below here in the YouTube. So going back to the water, Art, you found a story here about the U.S. Coast Guard rescuing a man who was stranded for 3 days on the island of Bahamas.
Yeah, an older gentleman, 64-year-old man, his sailboat became disabled, and he spent 3 days on the island in the Bahamas. And the U.S. Coast Guard actually spotted him because he had shot off a flare. Not only did he do that at an impeccable time, but he did also put an SOS into the beach. So you could see that. If you look in that article, you could see pictures of that. So if he wasn't prepared, you can tell, in my experience, sailors are prepared people. This 64-year-old guy here, man, he had the whole idea. Like, if something messes up, like how even my pops has a flare in his, like, yeah, for sure.
You have to be.
And they mentioned that, the Coast Guard mentioned that, like, this is why it's so crucial to have all of the components for safety when you're sailing or being out doing nautical things, because things can happen and then it could be life or death.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely a great challenge. I'm happy he got by and was found. I swear I had a question in here. Yes. So what would I have done if I didn't have a flare? I guess I would have tried to build a big ass fire.
I think we've learned
as big as we could get it.
Yeah, I mean, the smoke's going to carry. We learned in Castaway, which was a fantastic movie, of course, different part of the world where he was stranded. Mm-hmm. And just watching survival shows for so many years on Discovery, I really got into like Man vs. Wild, Survivor Man, all those scenarios. And every time that they made it to the water, you're always you could use a mirror. You can try to reflect the sun and go SOS with that.
That is
right.
A good way.
That's the 1, 2, 3 is the sign of distress. You can take logs and build out help. Mm-hmm. Massive, so it's seen from above, because you have a lot of air traffic going through, especially this part of the world. Down there in the Bahamas, you got a lot of people traveling, a lot of air traffic, boats. So there's things you can do, right, based on what you have in your inventory. If you're on a boat, you're probably going to have some things, but that's probably
a little toolkit on your boat.
You should be as prepared as you possibly can.
Yeah, especially if you're going out into the Bahamas, into the Gulf.
Yep.
Like, do you think that body of water is a joke?
Oh, no.
Like, hurricanes roll through there and stuff.
Oh, yeah, the almighty Atlantic, I'll tell you. It's a large body of water. And that segues perfectly into our next article here. This is a pretty cool story. There was a message in a bottle that washed up from Ireland in New Jersey. So there was a family that were cleaning up trash, doing the right thing, down at the 14th Street Beach in Wildwood, New Jersey. They were just hanging out, doing the right thing, cleaning up their community a little bit. And all of a sudden they see this bottle, that has washed up onto the sand. And they're like, well, what is this? And so it reads, "Greetings from Ireland. I have thrown this bottle into the sea for someone to find another day. Maybe it's traveled down to Africa or to Iceland. I won't know if someone has found this, but I hope it gets found." So that's pretty cool. From Ireland all the way to New Jersey. They did put it on their Facebook, and they're trying to get social media involved to see if they can find the sender.
The sender. Why wouldn't the sender be like, look, this is...
Leave some info.
Yeah, this is who I am. Just in case, if it is found, this is how I'm found.
Yep.
Because that is really fun. You can sense them. I can sense it. They're just out there that night. They had a scotch or two, maybe danced on top of a table or two, and then they're like, let me just send this.
Well, the land of the solid lads, that was a solid lad letter that they put out there to the world. It's amazing, though, that it traveled across the Atlantic. If you were kind of draw a line from Ireland, it did come down a little bit as far as the latitude goes.
So 2019, so that's
it took
1, 2,
4
3.
years.
Yeah, 4 years. 4 years.
4 years of it just floating around out there.
That's
it's amazing
wild.
It didn't sink, taking on too much water. But I think if you do it right, you can keep that bottle floating. But, man, that's a long way to go for it to wash up on the beach.
That is. It's just kind of fun, too. And that's really the little things that make up life. That's the fun stuff where it's like, okay, it's a good time, right? And so somebody else is having a good time. And that would be Dustin Stewart. And Dustin Stewart is a dinosaur enthusiast and also researcher, and was up in the Denali National Park in Alaska, and actually came across what appeared to be a migration trail of multiple different types of dinosaurs. One that was really prevalent was a duck-billed dinosaur. I think there was also relatives of Tyrannosaurus rex that were found in there. And so there had been footsteps discovered before, preserved from 70 million years ago, and they recently came across like this big grouping of them. They're expecting to find a lot more like this out there as the years continue. They expect to find more every year, which is a lot of fun. But Dustin's out there just jonesing. He's excited. The team's excited. It's like finding something new that's really old. So I'm happy for their team and for the archaeology behind it. It's really cool. But just imagine fulfilling a passion like this, right? So what would your equivalent be? Because this guy loves this stuff. So like, what would your equivalent be to him discovering this 70-year-old, million-year-old migration trail?
If we were out there, doing something like this, or like even gold sifting, which a lot of folks do here in Colorado, a lot of gold hunting goes on here. They get in the rivers, they move around. Like if we were out there doing that for fun and we found something epic like this, it'd be pretty exciting. I mean,
that would be exciting.
No question, to discover anything like that would be super cool. I haven't really done gold mining or gone out looking for dinosaur bones. I know a lot of folks in the Morrison, Colorado area. There's a dinosaur exhibit up there that have some old fossils in them. But I think it's pretty cool, man. Up there in Alaska, it's just such open territory that there's so much that I think is still undiscovered up there. But if I had to relate to what would be exciting in comparison, man, it'd probably be something tied to NASCAR a little bit. Being that excited, fulfilling my passion, being the head commentator for the race. That'd be pretty cool.
Head commentator?
Yeah.
Or what if like you were working on engines or something, and then you discovered a breakthrough, and made engines more epic than they already are? Yeah,
I mean that's way above my area of knowledge. I never really got into that area of it. I mean, I understand how it all works, but that's a good point. Something innovative that'll change the sport forever. Being the name behind that'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool. Sometimes I come up with these questions and I don't ask myself them all the time. Let's see if I could come up with this quickly. What would be my equivalent? I have to go into coming up with something where this sentence, this affirmation done properly, quickly accelerates progress and demonstrates absolute it's just absolute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Something like that, where it's just like anyone could do this. It's free. I found it out here.
That would be your equivalent to finding some new fossils.
Yeah, I feel like having something that would like be really impactful. Like you want to impact the sport. This guy wants to impact the history.
Yep.
I want to impact the mentality.
I like it. I think that's a good way to sum all that up, man, for sure. So we'll keep moving down in the What Do You Say state. Good old Tejas. Love you, Texas. Great barbecue. It's hot. It's really hot down there. You guys are having a super, super hot summer. I'm aware of that. Some of the real fields have been around 115 degrees. You guys are steaming hot this summer. So coming next week, September 1st, you're going to see some things that are a little bit different on the roadways. They just signed into the House Bill 1885 was signed in June. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to create for variable speed limits in certain parts of Texas and on the highways. So what does that mean exactly? Well, if it's a sunny day, there's no road construction, you can full send at 75, right? Normal speed. If you got road construction, these variables will come down, 45, whatever. And I'm assuming that they're going to do this in a way, because I haven't quite seen exactly what this is going to look like, what the plan is on the rollout. But my prediction is it's going to be something digital that can change, depending on the situation. So whether there's heavy rain, heavy fog, ice, North Texas does get a little bit of snow. So what's your thoughts on that, Art? Being able to have variable speed limits. I mean, we know when there's inclement weather, folks typically slow down anyways.
I mean, look, variable speed limits are already a part of the roads that we drive on. So to have the signage out there, I think there's nothing wrong with that, except it is going to create a boom for the installation of these and then maintenance of these types of digital displays. Yeah, because how else are you going to do that where, okay, let's flip the switch, everything's lower in this section, it's all lower in this section. And then people are going to be out there getting all frustrated about like, oh, they're just putting it down and it shouldn't be this low right now, and we're not even being affected. So like most things, there's going to be some pains with it. But just like how we agreed with in Las Vegas, how having these wrong way indicators where it's flashing red where the driver can see and everything, if it brings safety to the road and helps save lives, I mean, driving a vehicle is one of the most dangerous things that we humans do. Yep. Like, we're not meant to be traveling, 30, let alone 70, 80 miles an hour. So I'm for it. I think it's cool. It's going to help create some jobs and some work and some economy growth.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I think it's going to take time for this all to go into motion, right? I mean, they're going to start putting up some of the first signs, but then you're going to have the police enforce it, right? The police also have to know.
Maybe the signs also take speed.
There could be some of those, which a lot of them do, but you still have to have law enforcement present to be able to enforce it.
Yes.
In that sense of, okay, this has been a variable speed limit that's been reduced to 50 from 75. You're doing 60. Now you're doing 10 over in what you thought was normally a 75. So there's going to be some hiccups here that I think is going to take a little bit of time to iron out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Just drive safe out there, regardless. Just drive safe, everybody.
Drive safe for sure.
Drive safe, America.
Drive safe, America. We're getting closer and closer to, unfortunately, the winter weather's coming. Texas, you don't have to worry about that. Arizona for the foreseeable future, but around these parts, we're going to get ready to get a little bit colder here in the next month and a half, Art. So, the roadways are going to be compromised. So everyone just needs to be driving safe out there. Be courteous of others. Watch what you're doing. And
this is like an annual reminder. I know we have both sat on mics before and been like, can we please drive safe?
Yep.
Can we stop being so reactive on the roads? That's one thing, because I've been doing a lot of driving over the last week, and I see a lot of people being silly in front of me, and I just kind of like, that's why I have the space there. So they could just come on. Like, sometimes I'll get like 4 cars coming, and I'm like, guys, that's a bit excessive now.
Oh yeah, it's getting wild out there. People are, if you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube, just be careful if you're driving. You can still have it playing, as you're listening, but just keep your eyes on the road. Like we said last week, keep your head out of your apps, keep your eyes on the road. So it's Friday, as you know, America. We're heading into the weekend. We like to have fun on the weekends. That's what we work for. We work hard, and we always appreciate you starting your weekend right here with us. So, depending on where you're at around the country, if you're out in St. Louis, Missouri, we have the Evolution Festival going on Sunday, and that's going to be at the Forest Park Forever out there in St. Louis, out there in the gateway to the west.
That sounds like a fun one. Thank you for giving me this Tacos and Tequila Music Festival. And that is going to be out of Lubbock, Texas. Sounds like a great time, man.
Oh yeah, Lubbock, Texas. That's a fun town for sure. If you're out in Vegas and you're rolling the dice and you're having some fun this weekend, Jim Gaffigan's in town, guys. He is absolutely hilarious. You've seen him in movies, seen him on podcasts. He's a hilarious stand-up comic. If I was out there, I would definitely attend the Dark Pale Tour. Jim Gaffigan, Las Vegas.
And look, if you really want to headbang and do a good job, with an awesome band that does a great job doing it. Godsmack is going to be in San Diego. Well, it's Godsmack San Diego Sunday in Chula Vista, California. Sorry.
Which is just outside of San Diego.
Yeah, it's in the area.
It's a beautiful town.
It's in the area.
Art and I had the privilege to go see Godsmack on the same tour back here in Denver.
They killed it.
They kicked off the tour here in Denver. So for anyone in San Diego that's like, should I go to that? Yes, you should go to that if there's still tickets available. Down there in Daytona, Florida, we know it's NASCAR, baby. It's the regular season finale, guys. The stakes couldn't be higher. Is Bubba Wallace going to make the playoffs? Is Chase Elliott going to win the race? We don't know.
Love this race, though, because it's notorious for wrecks. It's a chaotic race.
I'm not the biggest fan.
And it's on a Saturday night, too.
Saturday Night Under the Lights I'm a fan of. I don't really like this style of racing personally. I'll go into that more on Mash the Gas podcast, which tune into that Monday nights anywhere you get your podcasts if you're into racing. But Saturday night, if you're looking for something to do, click on this race, guys. It's going to be wild. Chase Elliott has to win to make the playoffs. NASCAR's most popular driver could miss it.
And, they're going fast. They're keeping it moving. We're going to do the same thing. Let's keep this day productive, busy, and let's have fun while we're doing it. So while you're checking us out, if you like the content, go ahead and subscribe on YouTube. And, Discussion Combustion's coming at you from there, too. On Instagram and Facebook, it's at Happy Friday USA. Twitter /X, Happy Fry, Fri USA. And if you always just want to reach out over email, send segment ideas, suggestions, we're always happy to hear from you. That is happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. And we're going to go out with some rock and roll, baby.